our next speaker, Hanania. He is a student at Stagg High School, an author, environmental activist, and on the side, he writes and performs songs.
How are you guys doing tonight? I hope you all are doing amazing. It's a great event. There it is. We can snap that. I bet a lot of you guys, when you were looking at the brochure, you saw Aaron Hanania, an environmental activist and high school student, and you were all probably wondering, what am I going to be doing speaking at an engineering conference about the environment? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be speaking about why we need to engineer a new form of plastic. So I would like to first mention how long it takes for a water bottle to biodegrade. And that number is 450. It takes 450 years for a water bottle to biodegrade, which if you're a math person, in generations, each generation lasts about 25 years. So if you do 450 divided by 25, you get the magical number of 18. So it takes 18 generations for one water bottle to biodegrade. So I'm going to put an analogy in how long 450 years is. I'm sure you all know who George Washington is, the first president of the United States, born in 1732. Let's say in 1760 he buried a water bottle. That water bottle would still be there today, but I would like to go through what it would have seen. This is what that water bottle would have seen. So I'm just going to paraphrase. So the Boston Tea Party, World War I and II, freeing of the slaves, men on the moon. And then it's seen the inventions of the car, the plane, the water bottle, the telephone, the computer, the camera. And it's still going to be there for another 191 years. That's what's really important here. But what's worse is how many water bottles we go through a year. And the magical number is 50 billion. 50 billion water bottles. And we have a recycling rate, we as in the world as one, have a recycling rate of about 23%, which means that 38 billion of these water bottles go to waste every year. This is every year. So I wanted to do a little bit of math and say, in the next 191 years, how many water bottles would there be? And that is 7.25 trillion. It's a lot of zeros, but that's all wasted material. So here's what we can do. The biggest thing you can do is not use it. Why reduce, reuse, recycle? If you don't use it, then you don't need to reduce, reuse, or recycle. But if you find alternatives, you can find alternatives such as tin and aluminum. With the aluminum can, they come in packs of 12, and you can actually recycle the cardboard. That can be recycled. The can can be recycled. And the pop tab you can take off and donate to charities like Ronald McDonald, where they'll melt it down because it's pure aluminum, and then they sell it, and then they make money off it. So this is one of the most disturbing facts, which is how much weight of garbage and plastic are added to the oceans every year. And the number is 8 billion pounds a year, per year, which I'm going to break it down, which is 2 million pounds an hour, or 33,000 pounds a minute. But just to give you perspective, each Boeing 747 jet weighs about 1 million pounds if it's empty, and 1 times 2 is 2 million an hour. There's 8,760 hours in a year, and if you do the math, you're going to get 17,000. So imagine 17,000 Boeing 747 jets with a wingspan wider than the stage. That's how much we're throwing in the oceans every year. That's why we need to do something about it. Now going back to the minute, I said it's about 33,000 pounds a minute. And if you're familiar with your SUV, it probably weighs about 4,200 pounds. So that equals about 8 a minute, which is 475 an hour, 11,000 a day, 4.1 million a year, or 794 million over the next 100 years before it. But I want to explain to you guys why I'm here and what inspired it. And it's the fact that's behind me, that by the year 2050, more plastic and garbage will be in the ocean by weight than actual marine life. I'll let that sit for a minute. There's going to be more trash in the ocean than actual ocean life in the ocean. And that's why I got started. I would like to mention that I think the number is incorrect. They didn't look at the exponential trend. I'm thinking it's about 2035 to 2040. So by 2035, there's going to be more trash than animals in the ocean. So here's what we can do about it, like I mentioned. It's not a problem if you don't use it. If you don't use it, you don't have to produce it, you don't have to waste it. So it stays out of the ocean. You can, like I mentioned, use aluminum. That's what I do. It really helps the environment. The plastic water bottles are just the worst because they come wrapped in plastic. So it's plastic that's wrapped in plastic that you throw away. When in reality, you don't actually have to do it. You can just use a glass of water. Or at restaurants, they always offer you a straw. Even though they give you a cup, you don't need the straw. You can hand it back and you can drink without the straw because you don't need it. It's just not needed. So this is why I'm here at the engineering conference, because it's up to engineers. I'm personally not an engineer, but I know there are people who are going to be future engineers in this room. And it's up to each and every one of you to find a solution that's a natural alternative to plastic that will not harm the environment as much as plastic. So thank you guys so much for having me. Hope you guys enjoyed.